Start with a question that might make you squirm a bit. Do you ever look at your messy room and wonder if it's a sign of laziness? Maybe you believe that if you just had more discipline, your desk would be spotless, your bed perfectly made, and your life would finally feel organized. If you've ever thought this way, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you that this common belief is actually scientifically wrong? Today, we're going to challenge everything you think you know about messiness and what it says about you. Here's the truth that rarely makes it into self-help books. The state of your room isn't a reflection of your willpower. Instead, it's more like an X-ray of how your brain processes the world. That pile of clothes on your chair, it might actually be a sign of a highly advanced, intelligent mind. In fact, your messy space could reveal that your brain is operating on a level that your overly tidy friend simply can't access. Let's dig into why this is the case and what psychologists have discovered about the real meaning behind your mess. Psychologists often use the big five personality traits to understand why some people are messier than others. The number one predictor of a messy environment is something called openness to experience. This isn't just about being adventurous. It means your brain is constantly seeking novelty and stimulation. When you leave papers on your desk or books scattered around, your subconscious is actually creating a visual ecosystem of ideas. You're not ignoring the clutter, you're using it as a tool for thinking. Imagine your messy desk as a landscape of inspiration. Each item, from scattered papers to random trinkets, serves as a visual cue that sparks new connections in your mind. Unlike tidy people who hide everything away, messy individuals keep their ideas in plain sight. This visual ecosystem isn't chaos, it's a creative playground. Your brain is constantly making connections between objects, ideas, and memories, fueling your ability to think outside the box. Think about some of the greatest minds in history: Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, and many others. They were notorious for their chaotic workspaces. Why? Because when your priority is disruptive, innovative thinking, maintaining a sterile environment becomes a distraction. For these creative giants, the mess was not a sign of failure, but a sign of a mind constantly at work, always searching for new patterns and ideas. Study from the University of Minnesota found something fascinating. People working in a messy room actually generated ideas that were significantly more creative and outside the box than those working in a pristine room. The chaos of clutter forces your brain to work harder to find patterns, which ultimately boosts your creative output. So if you're messy, you're not lazy. You're a divergent thinker who prioritizes the big picture over tiny details. If you're the messy type, you're not just ignoring chores, you're building a world of ideas. You're the architect, not the janitor. Your mind is busy constructing new concepts, making connections, and exploring possibilities. The clutter around you is simply evidence of your mental activity. You see the big picture, and you're not afraid to let your environment reflect your creative process. But let's not glorify messiness too quickly. Now let's talk about the clean person. You might think someone with an immaculate room has it all together, disciplined, mature, and in control, but psychology reveals a more complex and sometimes darker reality behind excessive cleanliness. Excessive cleanliness is rarely just about discipline. More often it's about control, or more specifically, a deep-seated fear of losing it. When life feels unpredictable, some people hyperfocus on their environment, aligning every pen and straightening every object. This is a coping mechanism called compensatory control. It's a way to create order in a world that feels chaotic. Clinical psychology often links obsessive tidiness to higher baseline levels of anxiety. For someone who needs everything spotless, a stray crumb isn't just a crumb, it's a failure, a glitch in the system that must be fixed immediately. Their brain is on constant alert, and cleaning becomes a way to soothe their nervous system, not just a way to keep things neat. For the clean person, every straightened object is a tiny victory against the chaos of existence. But this constant need for order can be exhausting. The process of cleaning isn't always about loving the outcome, it's about calming the mind, even if only temporarily. It's a bandage for anxiety, not a sign of superior discipline. When your brain is overloaded with complex thoughts, emotions, or problems, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, gets tired. This is called decision fatigue. When you're mentally exhausted, you stop caring about the clothes on the floor. Your brain saves its energy for survival and big projects, not for tidying up. That messy person who can't find their keys, they're probably spending their mental energy on existential thoughts, business ideas, or complex psychological patterns. Their clutter isn't a sign of neglect, it's a sign that their brain is busy with bigger things. The mess is just a side effect of a mind at work. For the obsessively clean, their environment is a defensive fortress. They keep things spotless because they can't tolerate ambiguity. Every item in its place is a way to keep uncertainty at bay. Their need for order is less about preference and more about psychological survival. So which is better, being neat or messy? The truth is, neither is superior. Psychologists want you to understand that the goal isn't to fit into one category or the other. The real goal is self-awareness. Knowing why you prefer order or chaos is far more important than the state of your room. If you're naturally messy, it's time to stop shamming yourself. Society often tells us that cleanliness is next to godliness, but that's a social construct, not a psychological law. You don't need to become a minimalist to be successful. Instead, focus on building a system of organized chaos where your workspace might be messy, but you never lose what's truly important. Today, you might be the messy genius, overflowing with ideas and creativity. Your environment reflects your mental process, dynamic, ever-changing, and full of potential. Embrace your unique way of thinking and remember that your mess is just a sign of your creative depth. Tomorrow, you might find yourself craving order and control. That's okay too. If you're obsessive about cleanliness, give yourself a break. The urge to vacuum every day isn't a moral high ground, it's your brain's way of managing anxiety. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave a plate in the sink and let your nervous system realize that the world won't end. Here's the ultimate truth: your room is not your identity, it's just a shadow of your current mental state. Whether you're messy or neat, it's only a reflection of what's happening in your mind right now, not a permanent label or judgment of your character. Now that you know this psychological secret, take a moment to look around your room. What do you see? Is it a sign of your creative depth or a cry for control? The answer might surprise you, and it's okay if it changes from day to day. Understanding your mess is the first step to understanding your mind. Instead of judging yourself or others, try to see the deeper patterns at play. Are you a chaotic creator or an anxious cleaner, or maybe a bit of both? Self-awareness is the key to growth. Society often pushes the idea that cleanliness equals virtue, but this is more about cultural expectations than psychological truth. Many successful, creative people thrive in environments that look chaotic to others. Don't let social pressure dictate how you feel about your space. Some people thrive in what looks like chaos to others. This is called organized chaos, a system where everything has a place, even if it's not obvious to outsiders. If you know where your important things are, that's what matters. Your system doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. Minimalism is trendy, but it's not a requirement for success or happiness. Some of the most innovative people have cluttered desks and busy environments. What matters is that your space works for you and supports your goals, not that it fits a certain aesthetic. For those who clean obsessively, it's important to recognize that this behavior is often about managing anxiety. Cleaning can be a way to feel in control when other parts of life feel unpredictable. Understanding this can help you be kinder to yourself and others. Perfection isn't the goal. Whether you're neat or messy, it's okay to let go of the need to have everything just right. Sometimes, leaving a plate in the sink or a book on the floor is a healthy way to remind yourself that life doesn't have to be perfect. Self-awareness is the real superpower here. When you understand why you prefer order or chaos, you can make choices that truly support your well-being. It's not about changing who you are, but about understanding yourself better and living authentically. Your room is simply a reflection of your current mental state. It changes as you change. Some days it's messy, some days it's neat. Both are valid and both can be healthy depending on what's happening in your life and mind. Growth starts with understanding. When you stop judging your environment and start exploring what it means, you open the door to real self-improvement. Whether you're a chaotic creator or an anxious cleaner, your journey begins with self-acceptance. At Mind Decode, our mission is to help you understand the hidden patterns behind your everyday life. Your messy room isn't a flaw, it's a clue to how your mind works. By decoding your environment, you can start to decode yourself. Remember, your space is just the beginning of your journey to self-awareness.